Life does not hit weak men by accident. It hits them because pressure is the gatekeeper of power. The comfort you keep begging for is the same comfort that has been making you soft, slow, emotional, and predictable. Machiavelli understood something most people are too fragile to accept. A man is not truly known when life is easy. He is known when everything turns against him. When the room goes silent. When people leave. When money gets tight. When betrayal burns through his chest. When the future looks dark and nobody comes to save him. That is the moment life stops being kind and starts being honest. You think pain came to destroy you. No. Pain came to expose the parts of you that were never strong enough to carry your destiny. Every insult, every failure, every rejection, every loss is a blade sharpening your mind. The harder life hits you, the more dangerous you become if you refuse to collapse. Weak men complain. Powerful men study the hit. They ask, what is this teaching me? What part of me must die? What part of me must rise? This is where your transformation begins, not in motivation, not in comfort, not in applause. It begins in the dark, when nobody is watching, and you decide that your pain will no longer be a prison. It will become your weapon. Comment: pressure builds my power. Number 2, every storm carries a lesson. I want you to understand something most people spend their entire lives running from. Adversity is not the enemy. Weakness is. Life does not become unfair because it challenges you. Life becomes valuable because it does. Every great man in history was forged by resistance. No sword becomes sharp without friction. No mind becomes powerful without struggle. No leader emerges from a life of comfort. Yet most people spend their days trying to avoid the very experiences that would make them stronger. They pray for easier circumstances instead of becoming harder to break. And that is why they remain ordinary. Machiavelli knew that power belongs to those who adapt faster than others. When life strikes, the average person reacts emotionally. They panic, they complain, they blame fate, luck, family, society, or enemies. But the man who is destined for power responds differently. He remains still. He observes. He learns. While others are drowning in emotion, he is collecting information. He understands that every setback contains intelligence. Every betrayal reveals a person's true nature. Every failure exposes a weakness that can be corrected. Every humiliation offers a lesson that pride would never teach. Think about the hardest moments of your life. The nights when nobody answered your calls. The days when your efforts went unnoticed. The moments when you felt abandoned, underestimated, or forgotten. Those experiences felt cruel. But look closer. They forced you to develop skills you would never have developed otherwise. They taught you independence. They taught you emotional control. They taught you how little you actually need from other people to keep moving forward. Pain stripped away your illusions and showed you reality. And reality is where power lives. The truth is that your enemies can become your greatest teachers. The people who doubted you forced you to improve. The people who rejected you forced you to grow. The people who betrayed you taught you caution. Without realizing it, they contributed to your evolution. They thought they were weakening you. Instead, they were training you. Every attack became another layer of armor. Every disappointment became another reason to become stronger. Remember this whenever life hits you again. The pressure is not proof that you are failing. The pressure is proof that you are being forged. Comment below. I grow stronger through every storm. Number 3. Turn pain into power. The moment life hits you hardest, your first instinct is to ask, why me? But that question makes you weak because it places you beneath the event. It turns you into a victim waiting for mercy. A powerful man asks a different question. He asks, how can I use this? That single shift changes everything. Pain becomes material. Loss becomes strategy. Betrayal becomes education. Rejection becomes fuel. Failure becomes a private classroom where your old self is forced to die. Machiavelli understood that fortune does not favor the soft man who complains about storms. Fortune favors the man who learns how to sail through them with cold eyes and steady hands. You must stop treating hardship like an interruption and start treating it like training. Every time life takes something from you, it is also showing you what you were too attached to. Every time someone leaves, life is testing whether your identity was built on their presence. Every time you lose comfort, life is asking whether you can still move without pleasure. This is the dark discipline of power. You do not become untouchable by avoiding pain. You become untouchable by becoming someone pain can no longer control. Look at the people who fall apart under pressure. They are not destroyed by the event itself. They are destroyed by their interpretation of it. One insult becomes a wound. One rejection becomes an identity. One failure becomes proof that they are finished. But you are not here to live like them. You are here to become the kind of man who absorbs the hit, studies the damage, fixes the weakness, and returns sharper than before. You do not waste suffering. You convert it. The world is full of people begging to be understood. But the powerful man does not beg for sympathy. He becomes so disciplined that his silence explains everything. He does not announce his pain. He uses it. He does not show everyone his wounds. He turns them into armor. And when people finally notice the change in him, they will not know the nights that created it. They will only see the result. So when life strikes again, do not lower your head like a defeated man. Stand still, breathe, observe. The hit is not the end of you. It is the beginning of a stronger version. Comment: I turn pain into power. Number 4. The day you stop waiting for rescue. There comes a point in every man's life when he realizes that nobody is coming to rescue him. No mentor appears at the perfect time. No friend carries his burdens forever. No miracle suddenly removes every obstacle from his path. At first, this realization feels brutal. It feels lonely. It feels unfair. But hidden inside that moment is one of the greatest sources of power a man can ever discover. Because the day you stop waiting for rescue is the day you begin taking command of your life. Most people remain weak because they are addicted to dependence. They depend on motivation to take action. They depend on approval to feel valuable. They depend on comfort to feel secure. And when those things disappear, they collapse. But a powerful man understands a different principle. He understands that strength begins where dependence ends. The less you need from the world, the harder you become to control. The less validation you require, the more dangerous your confidence becomes. The less you fear being alone, the more freedom you gain. Machiavelli observed that power often belongs to the individual who can endure what others cannot. While ordinary people seek certainty, powerful people adapt to uncertainty. While ordinary people panic during chaos, powerful people learn to operate inside it. This is why hardship is such a valuable teacher. It forces you to build internal resources. It teaches you how to think under pressure, how to move without reassurance, how to trust yourself when nobody else does. Many of the strongest qualities you possess today were born from circumstances you once hated. The discipline you developed came from struggle. The wisdom you gained came from mistakes. The caution you learned came from betrayal. The resilience you carry came from pain. If life had been easy, you would never have needed to develop these qualities. Comfort would have robbed you of your potential long before failure ever could. That is why powerful men do not curse adversity. They respect it. They understand that every difficult season is an opportunity to forge another layer of strength. Every obstacle is a chance to become more capable. Every setback is a challenge to rise at a higher level than before. The question is not whether life will hit you again. It will. The real question is whether you will use the hit as an excuse to quit or as a reason to evolve. Comment below. I need nothing but myself. Number 5. Master the pain, master yourself. What most men call punishment is often preparation. They lose something and immediately assume life is against them. They face rejection and immediately think their value has disappeared. They are betrayed and immediately believe trust was a mistake. But a man with a Machiavellian mind does not rush to emotional conclusions. He does not let pain write the meaning of his life. He understands that every hard season is a hidden examination. Life is not asking if you can smile when things are easy. Life is asking if you can remain controlled when your pride is wounded, your plans are delayed, and your heart is heavy. That is where real power is tested. You must learn to separate pain from weakness. Pain is not weakness. Panic is weakness. Pain is pressure. Panic is surrender. Pain can sharpen you, but panic makes you usable. And this is exactly where dark psychology becomes important. The world studies your reactions. People watch what breaks you. They notice what triggers your emotions, what makes you explain yourself, what makes you chase, beg, complain, or lose control. And once they discover your emotional buttons, they can control your behavior without touching your body. That is why the man who cannot control his pain becomes easy to manipulate. But when life hits you and you do not react like a slave to your emotions, something changes. People lose access to you. Their insults stop working. Their silence stops controlling you. Their rejection stops defining you. Their betrayal stops poisoning your mind. You become dangerous not because you are cruel, but because you are no longer emotionally available for destruction. You listen, you observe, you remember. Then you move with precision. This is how hardship makes you powerful. It removes the childish belief that everyone deserves your trust, your energy, your explanation, and your heart. It teaches you that access must be earned. It teaches you that loyalty must be tested. It teaches you that silence is often more powerful than emotional speeches. The weak man exposes his wounds to everyone and wonders why people keep pressing them. The powerful man protects his wounds, heals in private, and returns with a colder standard. So do not hate the life that forced you to become stronger. Do not hate the pain that made you sharper. Do not hate the betrayal that opened your eyes. Without those hits, you might have remained soft, trusting, distracted, and dependent. Now you are learning the rarest kind of power. The power to feel everything and still remain in command. Comment: my pain obeys me now. Number 6. Stop asking for an easier life. At some point, you must stop asking life to become softer and start demanding yourself to become stronger. A soft life creates a soft mind. A soft mind creates emotional reactions. Emotional reactions create bad decisions, and bad decisions keep a man trapped in the same cycle he claims he wants to escape. Machiavelli would tell you that the world is not designed to protect your feelings. The world rewards the person who understands reality, not the person who complains about it. Reality does not care how hurt you are. Reality only asks what you are going to do with the hurt. This is where most men lose themselves. They suffer once, then build an identity around the suffering. They carry the wound like a title. They repeat the story again and again until pain becomes their personality. But you are not here to become a museum of old damage. You are here to become a commander of your own mind. The wound happened, the betrayal happened, the failure happened, the humiliation happened. Now the question is simple. Will you use it as a chain or will you use it as a weapon? A powerful man does not deny pain. He disciplines it. He does not pretend he feels nothing. He makes sure his feelings never sit on the throne. His emotions may enter the room, but they do not make the decisions. His anger does not control his mouth. His sadness does not control his routine. His disappointment does not control his future. He feels the storm, but he still moves like a king, quiet, focused, unshaken. This is the secret that makes life's hardest hits useful. Hardship forces you to stop living through fantasy. It teaches you who is real, who is temporary, who is loyal, who is watching, who is using you, and who only appears when you are useful. Pain removes decoration from people. It shows you the truth behind their smiles. And once you see clearly, you stop wasting your energy on those who were never meant to walk beside you. So let life hit. Let it test your pride. Let it expose your attachments. Let it reveal your weaknesses. But never let it own you. Every blow must be converted into structure. Every loss must become discipline. Every disappointment must become a colder standard. You are not being buried. You are being built beneath the surface, where roots become strong. And when you rise, you will not rise as the same man. You will rise harder to fool, harder to break, and harder to defeat. Number 7. Become harder to control. The harder life hits you, the more you must study what the hit revealed. Not just about the world, but about yourself. Did pressure make you lose discipline? Did rejection make you chase? Did betrayal make you bitter? Did failure make you lazy? Did loneliness make you run back to people who already proved they did not deserve access to you? These are not small questions. These are the questions that determine whether pain becomes power or poison. Machiavelli would never waste a wound. He would examine it like intelligence from the battlefield. He would ask, where was I exposed? Where was I naive? Where did I give too much? Where did I speak too soon? Where did I trust without evidence? This is how a man becomes harder to control. He stops romanticizing people. He stops confusing attention with loyalty. He stops treating every smile like safety. Life's hardest hits are brutal because they remove illusion. But illusion must die before power can live. You must understand this clearly. The world does not only attack your body, your money, or your status, it attacks your perception. It wants you emotional, reactive, distracted, and easy to read. Because a man who can be read can be predicted. A man who can be predicted can be controlled. But when pain teaches you silence, patience, timing, and self-command, you become difficult to manipulate. You no longer explain every move. You no longer reveal every wound. You no longer announce every plan. You no longer beg people to understand your transformation. You simply become different. This is the cold advantage of suffering. It teaches you what comfort never could. It teaches you that not everyone deserves closeness. It teaches you that your emotions are sacred information, not public entertainment. It teaches you that your energy must be guarded like territory, and once you begin guarding yourself, people will feel the change. Some will call you cold, some will say you changed, some will miss the old version of you because the old version was easier to use. Let them miss him. That man had to die. The new you must be strategic, calm when provoked, silent when insulted, disciplined when tempted, focused when abandoned, powerful when life becomes heavy. This is not cruelty. This is survival with intelligence. The harder life hits you, the more refined your control must become, because the man who controls himself becomes the man others can no longer control. Number 8. Turn pressure into precision. A weak man becomes reckless when life hurts him. He starts speaking too much, reacting too fast, trusting the wrong people, and making decisions from wounded emotion. But a powerful man becomes more precise. Pressure does not scatter him. Pressure organizes him. He stops moving like a man desperate for comfort and starts moving like a strategist who understands that every choice has consequences. Machiavelli would never advise you to make pain your excuse. He would tell you to make pain your discipline, because when life becomes heavy, your mind must become sharper, not louder. This is where your real transformation begins to separate you from ordinary people. Ordinary people let pain make them careless. They eat carelessly, spend carelessly, speak carelessly, love carelessly, trust carelessly. Then they wonder why their lives become heavier. But the man who is becoming powerful uses hardship as a signal to tighten every part of himself. He becomes stricter with his time, stricter with his circle, stricter with his habits, stricter with his words, stricter with his standards. He understands that when the world becomes unstable, his inner system must become unbreakable. Do not waste your pain on revenge fantasies. Do not waste it on complaining. Do not waste it on proving yourself to blind people. Use it to build. Use it to train. Use it to study. Use it to become more valuable, more controlled, more difficult to replace, and more impossible to ignore. The greatest revenge is not noise, it is elevation. It is becoming so focused that the people who once underestimated you can no longer reach the level where you operate. Life's hits are not always meant to knock you down. Sometimes they are meant to remove your laziness. Sometimes they are meant to expose your weak habits. Sometimes they are meant to show you that the life you were living was too small for the man you were supposed to become. Pain is brutal, but it is also honest. It shows you exactly where you lack structure. So when pressure comes, do not lose yourself. Refine yourself, move slower, think deeper, speak less, choose better. Let every hit make your vision clearer and your standards colder. Become the man who does not break under pressure, but becomes more accurate because of it. Because the harder life hits you, the more precise your power must become. Number 9. Rise without needing applause. There is a dangerous kind of power that begins when you stop needing the world to notice your pain. Most people want witnesses for their suffering. They want someone to see how much they endured, how badly they were treated, how deeply they were wounded. But the man who becomes truly powerful does not turn his pain into a performance. He turns it into construction, quiet construction, private construction. The kind of construction nobody respects at first because they cannot see it happening. Machiavelli understood that visible power is always built from invisible discipline. Before a man becomes respected in public, he must first become ruthless with himself in private. You must stop demanding applause for surviving what was meant to teach you. Survival is not the final victory. Transformation is. Anyone can suffer, anyone can be betrayed, anyone can lose, anyone can be abandoned. But few men have the discipline to take those experiences and build a stronger character from them. That is what separates the ordinary from the untouchable. The ordinary man says, "Look what happened to me." The powerful man says, "Watch what I become because of it." This is the mindset that terrifies weak people, because once you stop begging for recognition, you become harder to influence. Praise no longer controls you. Criticism no longer stops you. Silence no longer discourages you. Being misunderstood no longer makes you explain yourself to people who are committed to seeing you incorrectly. You no longer perform strength, you become strength. And real strength does not need to announce itself every morning. It is felt in your posture, your patience, your decisions, your boundaries, and the cold calm in your eyes when life tries to provoke you. The harder life hits you, the more private your evolution must become. Do not tell everyone what you are building. Do not show everyone where you are healing. Do not explain every change in your character. Let them guess. Let them misunderstand. Let them think you are finished while you are becoming disciplined in silence. Because when the results finally appear, they will speak with more authority than your words ever could. So rise without needing applause. Train without needing witnesses. Heal without needing sympathy. Build without needing permission. Let every painful chapter become a secret investment into your future power. And when they finally ask how you became so different, do not explain the whole story. Just let your life answer. Comment, I rise without applause. Number 10. The hit becomes your throne. The final lesson is this. Life will not stop hitting you just because you become stronger. In fact, the stronger you become, the more serious the tests become. But now, you are no longer the same man who begged for easy days. You are no longer the same man who broke every time someone left, doubted you, rejected you, or misunderstood you. You have learned the cold truth. The hit was never the end. The hit was the training. The hit was the fire. The hit was the force that burned away your weakness and revealed the ruler hidden underneath your pain. Machiavelli would tell you that power is not given to the man who avoids suffering. Power belongs to the man who turns suffering into strategy. When life strikes, he does not collapse into emotion. He studies. He adjusts. He becomes harder to fool, harder to control, harder to defeat. Every betrayal becomes a warning system. Every failure becomes a correction. Every loss becomes discipline. Every storm becomes proof that he can stand without permission, without applause, without rescue. So from this day forward, do not ask why life hit you so hard. Ask what kind of man the hit is trying to create. Let pressure build your patience. Let pain sharpen your focus. Let rejection strengthen your independence. Let loneliness teach you self-command. Let every dark chapter become evidence that you are not buried, you are being forged. And when people look at you later and wonder why you became so calm, so focused, so different, let them wonder. You owe no one the full story of your becoming. Just keep rising, quietly, strategically, relentlessly. Comment, "The hit made me powerful." If this message reached you, like this video, subscribe to Machiavellian Mind and turn on notifications, because the next lesson may be the one that changes how you move forever.